Hi, and welcome to Dungeons and Dragons Reno. In this segment, I'm going to show you how to pour 3D terrain. So first you'll need is some molds. These are some wall molds. And then here's a custom floor mold. And this will be a 6 by 6. So 6 inches by 6 inches. Each one of these squares are 1 inch. So the first thing you'll need is a device to tell you if you're level. So you just want to check the north, south, and east and west. And this is about as even as it's going to get. Second step is you're going to use a cup to capture your stone. I'm using dental stone here. So I take 1 cup of dental stone and then I fill it with about that much water. You don't want to be too specific for this stuff because it doesn't really matter. I think if you use the exact increments, you're going to get like a paste, and that just doesn't work too well, especially for what I'm doing. I'm not going to spend $100 for a vibration table to get the same effect that I can just by using my hand. So you kind of just stir it up until you get all the chunks out of it, and you won't be able to see them, but you'll definitely feel them. So you just kind of go back and forth in your cup. This is the 12-ounce Walmart red cups. You can get these, I think you get like 72 of them for $5. And you'll probably go through a few of these. Now once you have your cup full, you're going to start pouring your stone. Just like this. And I'll bring you in so you can see it even better. There you go. So here we go. So I'll just pour these. I mean, if you're trying to save money and you want to get precise measurements, then do it. But this is about the consistency that you want it. And I basically have been doing this now for quite a while, so I've got it down just by mental. And it doesn't really matter if you mess it up or not, because either way, once you put the paint on it, it's going to cover up a lot of the flaws if you have any at all anyway. So on this one here, I just kind of put it there, right? Now the next one, I'm going to use a little less dungeon stone, or dental stone. So I just pour it in there like so, and just kind of stir it around. Now you don't really have to move too quickly for this stuff. I mean, you can't sit around for more than 10 minutes, but you have quite a while to fool around with it. And what I do to save this stuff is if I know I'm going to be pouring more than what I have in a cup, which I currently have, I'll just simply bring another mold down. So it's just a feel. I know I can show you, but you won't really know what I'm talking about until you feel it. So now that all this has kind of been done, I'm going to grab a secondary mold. And I know my molds are all kind of crusty, but when you start, you'll understand that you don't really need to make it amazing. Especially for what I'm doing, because I'm going to be pouring dungeons that are over 1,000 pieces. So I'm just trying to get these out as quickly as possible. And I'll be honest with you, when your players show up to play, they're not going to bring out the microscopes and check your work. So the next step now is you want to start banging on the table here, right? So I'll get that all nice and... So you can see there's dental stone still on the top, but that's okay. So you just kind of give it a few bangs. You don't hear it, just kind of free up air bubbles that may be present on the top. But because we use a very liquidy pour, it should kind of, you can already see the bubbles on the very top as it is. So you put it on the top. pops like so, but pretty much that's about it. And then the next item you'll need is this scraper tool. I think I purchased this thing on Amazon for like $2. So what I'll do here is I'll just kind of zoom in on this one here so you can get a really good view. So because I have them running this way and that way, I have to be pretty careful for what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna kind of go across and then down. And there you go, right? It's just something simple as that. You don't really need to be too technical on this. As long as you can just get the stuff in, I think you'll be just fine. Now you can see it kind of bubbling up a little bit, so you just kind of go over it again. And same with this side, right? There. Until you get it flat. And I can still see this is kind of bubbling up, but that one looks a lot better. Be careful using your own molds. They'll tend to not be 100% flat. So this here is basically it, and we'll check back when this is done. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes, and now we're pretty much dry. So you can see at the top here that these are dry, and these ones still look a little wet. That's just because the items have been kind of over poured with water. So you just take a rag, like I have here, just fold it a couple times. And this is if you make a mistake by pouring too much water inside your dental stone. Okay? And you know, in all honesty, you can use any item like a dental stone or plaster of Paris. And I've used all of it. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't go using the super expensive stuff, but I would go with this stuff. And this is Garrico Labstone. And it's about $30 for a 25-pound box. So any item, any box of stone that you can spend about $1.30 a pound or less, I think is good. But the problem you're gonna have with plaster of Paris is that it's just gonna it's really light and really flimsy. So here we go. So this is my custom 6x6, right? And maybe you're probably thinking, well, why do you want a 6x6? Well, I'll show you, because these here will get you away from like a static item, like a wall with a floor on it. This right here allows you to build with the walls. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this over here on the cardboard to dry. So that way, you want to draw all this moisture out of the stone. And typically, to get it all out, you're talking probably a good 3 to 4 days to draw it all out so it totally hardens. So you can see there's a couple air bubbles here, right? But these are really no big deal, because once we primer it and then paint it, you won't even notice it. So don't really concern yourself too much per se with this kind of stuff, because you're going to be building a beautiful dungeon and people are not going to be like this close looking at it, you know? So unless you're just building like a small diorama, then I guess you can get real technical, and I can drop off the conversion, which is very simple, because right here it's 30 milliliters of water per 100 grams of dental stone. So, I mean, if that's the route you want to go, if you're one of those people that needs to be exact every time, then feel free. But the problem is that you'll face is that you'll get a thicker stone pour, and you're just going to find that that's a really big problem. So, at least for me. So here's my next pour here, and this is the door. So you can see, and what I went here is I took Hearst Arts mold and I just combined them, and then I poured my own mold. So that way I'm getting a solid piece, right? Same with these walls, right? So this is like 2 Hearst molds that I glued together, and then the floor that I glued together. So this is one solid piece. So now with my molding, I'm pouring 2 large walls, right? Pouring 2 large walls, 2 small walls, right? 2 small walls. Here's number 2. And then I'm pouring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 medium-sized walls. I found that these are the walls that you use the most of. And so cornering with the large walls, you'll only corner twice per 6 inches with the if you're gonna play on turning like a squared off. So these are just little things that I figured out for myself. You may do something different, but I'm just gonna show you this real quick, and then I'm done with this video series. So over here is my drying section, right? So I just use cardboard, right? And here's this. So these have sat last night, so they're pretty much good to go. They're still moist a little bit, but for the most part, they're done. Now this one I just pulled out, and you just kind of run your fingers over them to kind of get off any hard spots, and then I just place it here. And here's the next one that I did. So what I do here, and this is the one I just poured out. So what I do here is I just lay these out on this per pour to draw out most of the moisture, and then I put it on a wooden surface to get the rest. So I just want to explain to you why I pour the way I pour. So first off, why I put the step in here is 2 reasons. One, it gives you that alignment. So now it looks like it's on the wall, right? You see that? So now it looks like it's part of the whole wall there. See that? And 2, I'm not going to zoom in on this. And the second reason is if we're going to pour, if we're gonna start putting stuff on the floor, right? So we can go something like this. It gives us a tall wall, but then at the same time, this is our big one, and the big one does a corner plus 2. So that's our cornering. That's what I was telling you about cornering there. And then you got a 2, and then a big one, and then 2. Right? So that's if we wanted to go square. But the other reason I do this is that we can also, I don't have to pour other molds to get that bending technique, you know, or whatever. Or if you see that in like a lot of modules where you get this kind of sectioning like that. So this just allows that. The small ones also give you that better like turning kind of thing if you wanted to go that route, right? And if you were looking for precision, to get that precision, this would allow you to get that better precision closer to like modules on the D&D maps instead of stuff like Dwarven Forge, which I found. Dwarven Forge is beautiful, it's perfect, but it's not what I want as a player. I like to move my pieces quickly, efficiently, and I like to get the most out of everything. So here's what I do. This is a 6x6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. Okay, and I lay these out. So this is 1 foot. So 1 foot. I broke this one, so I've got it gluing right now. So that's a foot, and then 4 plates is a foot by a foot. Okay, all my dungeons that I pour will be on a 4x8 table, which I have over here. So this is a 4x8 table. So this will all be full of that, which I already have a bunch of it. It's over there. I think I have around 800 pieces all over there. So it's all right there. And then I have a whole box on the ground there that's full of it too. So this is it. And so this will allow me to do pretty cool stuff the way I want it to be done. So anyway, follow my YouTube channel. Watch for other episodes. And thank you for watching.